Welcome! You're here today as part of a Department of Defense Health Affairs pre-deployment neurocognitive assessments program. The purpose of this program is to establish a baseline in the event that you become injured or exposed to a concussion or traumatic brain injury, TBI. Before we begin, please take out your cell phones and turn them completely off. Do not leave your cell phone on silent or vibrate. Turn them off completely so that you and those around you are not distracted. First, we will view a short video, and then we will take the actual assessment. We are ready to begin. We live in a dangerous world. Today's military conflicts have raised the awareness of concussion or more severe brain injuries. The best way to know how you are functioning after a brain injury is to know how you functioned before the incident occurred. The purpose of today's assessment is to obtain a baseline of your general cognitive performance, things like speed and attention, memory, and thinking ability. Think of this as being similar to a hearing test. This is your personal cognitive baseline today. It is not compared to anyone else's. It is not an IQ test, and there is no pass or fail score. In the unfortunate event that you become injured, a medical provider can repeat the assessment in theater or stateside to determine if there's been a change from today's baseline assessment. This approach is also utilized in sports medicine for football, hockey, and other contact sports. After a concussion, there may not be any bleeding or swelling, but there can be a significant, although usually temporary, decrease in duty performance, such as slowed thinking or memory problems. As with any baseline, the most important thing is to do your best so you have a good, valid baseline for comparison after an injury. This test will help guide your medical care and will become part of your permanent medical record. This baseline has all of the same protections as your other health information. You are about to take a computer-based cognitive assessment. We ask that you be quiet while you're in the assessment area so that you do not disturb others. This assessment has a series of tasks that will take about 20 minutes to complete. The psychometrist will be willing to answer any questions you may have during this assessment, so please don't hesitate to ask. Here is an explanation of how the assessment works. Each module begins with a set of instructions, followed by a practice run. If you receive at least a 75% on the practice, proceed to the actual assessment. Otherwise, please ask the psychometrist for assistance before proceeding to the actual assessment. When finished, please check with the psychometrist. You may be required to retake portions of the assessment as needed. One of the first screens you will see is a demographics screen. This screen is designed to be service-specific. Please complete the form and make sure your pre-filled information is correct. Pay particular attention to the assessment setting and reason for current assessment sections. Select the appropriate choice. Again, if you have any questions, please ask. The assessment will ask questions about any previous injury events, symptoms, fatigue, and mood, and then measure your performance on different tasks. We have a little more to cover before you get started. You must use the computer mouse to respond. The mouse buttons are labeled 1 and 2, and the instructions will tell you when to press each button. Use your index and middle fingers to respond. Do not use the index fingers from both hands or one index finger back and forth, or your thumbs like in a video game. Use only the index and middle fingers that are resting on the mouse at all times. Now we need to know, if you operate a mouse with your right or left hand. We do not need to know if you are left-handed, just if you use a mouse with your left hand. If right, the program defaults to the right hand and is configured for your use. If left, let the psychometrist giving the assessment know that you use a mouse with your left hand, and then move the mouse and mouse pad to the left side of the computer where it is comfortable. When you get to this screen, be sure to select the radio button that says left. There will be prompts on the screen. We will now review two examples. These are just examples. The actual assessment does not use these symbols or patterns. The first example is called code substitution. The numbers 1 through 9 appear across the top of the screen, and each number will have a symbol paired with it. At the bottom of the screen, you'll have a single number symbol pair, and you will be asked whether that pair is somewhere in the list at the top. If your response is incorrect, the pair at the bottom of the screen flashes red. You need to do this part as fast and accurately as possible. Try to memorize which symbol goes with which number. Later on in the assessment, you will be asked about the same pairs, except this time without the answer key at the top, and incorrect responses will not flash in red. This assesses your memory. Example 2 is matching to sample. You will see a pattern of blocks on the screen. During the assessment, you will have a couple of seconds to memorize the pattern before it disappears. The screen will go blank for about 5 seconds. Then you will see 2 patterns and be asked whether the one you just memorized is on the left or the right. Then those 2 patterns will go away, and you will get a new pattern to look at and memorize. You will then compare the new pattern with the next 2 patterns. Repeat this process with each new pattern. Remember, if any of your performance is out of the expected range, then you will receive instructions to retake a portion of the assessment. You are now ready to take the assessment. Remember to do your best, and if you need assistance, please ask.